You know, I've sat on this bench for a long, long time. I've seen thousands of faces. Grown men who wouldn't cry in front of their own children broke down in front of me. Most people forget the ticket. Most people forget the fine. But every once in a while, someone walks through those doors and leaves behind a story I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. This is one of those stories. It was a Friday morning. The bailiff called a name. Desmond Hale, a tall man in his 60s, stood, sawdust still clinging to his flannel shirt, tape measure hanging from his belt. The charge was simple: building without permits, wheelchair ramps on other people's homes, every weekend for 11 years. "Mr. Hale," I said, "you're a licensed contractor. Why skip the permits on these ramps?" He gripped the tape measure. "Your Honor, because 11 years ago, my son came home from the war without his legs." The room went silent. "We didn't have a ramp," Desmond said. "For 3 months, he couldn't even get out of the house, trapped, watching the world through a window." His voice thickened. "By the time I finally built one, he'd stopped asking to go outside at all. Something had already broken in him. I promised myself," he said, "no family would ever wait 3 months again, not if I could help it. Every weekend since," he said, "I find a family who needs a ramp. Veterans, elderly, kids in wheelchairs. I build it in a day, never charge for labor." I felt something tighten in my chest, a father's helplessness, turned into 11 years of never letting another family wait. Now here's where the story could end. Charges dismissed, everyone goes home. But that's not what happened. A young man rolled forward in a wheelchair from the back row. Military haircut, steady eyes. "Your Honor, may I speak?" I nodded. "I'm his son," he said. The courtroom turned completely still. "I never told him this," he said, voice shaking. "Those 3 months, trapped in the house, I thought about ending things, more than once." Desmond's face went pale. "The day that ramp finally went up," his son said, "I rolled outside for the first time in months, felt the sun, heard the neighborhood again. It was small, but it saved my life." His voice cracked. "I've never told him how close I came that year. I didn't want him to carry that weight." He looked at his father. "But I need you to know, every ramp you've built since, you've been saving someone's life exactly like you saved mine, whether you knew it or not." Here's the part that broke me. Desmond crossed the courtroom and knelt in front of his son's wheelchair, face to face, for the first time it seemed in years. "I didn't know," he whispered. "I thought I failed you. I've spent 11 years trying to make up for those 3 months." "You didn't fail me," his son said. "You just didn't know yet what your hands were capable of." Desmond tried to speak, but the words never came. He simply held his son's hands and wept, right there in my courtroom. I dismissed the charges, but that's not what this story is really about. Here's the twist. The son had already contacted the city permit office before he walked into my courtroom. "Your Honor," he said, "I'd like to request an expedited permit program. Free ramps for veterans and disabled residents should never be tangled in paperwork, not when someone's waiting behind a window." The city later named the program Hale's Path. I think about that morning often, an unpermitted ramp. That's all it was supposed to be. But it became a lesson about how a father's guilt can quietly rebuild not just one life, but hundreds, one weekend at a time. So today, if someone you love is trapped behind a window, waiting, isolated, don't wait for the paperwork, don't wait for permission. Sometimes the fastest way to save someone is simply showing up with the right tools. Thank you for listening.